Yo, Rex, take me to the Supercharger near Buc-ee's.
Got you covered. Navigating to the Tesla Supercharger at the Buc-ee's on Katy Freeway in Katy, Texas. It's 9.5 miles away, about 13 minutes, arriving around 6:01 a.m.
Perfect.
Glad you like it. Let me know if you need anything else on the way.
All right, so this is, the wife got this update a couple of days ago. I don't know how much she's been using it. We'll check it when we get to Buc-ee's, see how much she's actually been using FSD, put that on camera. I'm guessing she's using it more. I don't know, but today it is January 16th, 2026, Friday. It is 10 minutes to 6 a.m. I'm waiting for the Model 3 to get version 14.2.2.3. I don't expect there to be any monumental shifts in what the software can and can't do, but it's always good to chart this regression. So we are not in Stygian 2.0. We are in Panda, not the Model 3, but the Model X. Both cars are hardware 4. And yeah, we are headed to the Supercharger in Buc-ee's. I accidentally left my car plugged into the level 2 charger. Before I went to bed. She didn't feel the need to change them out. I mean, her car's at 60%. We're just gonna go to Buc-ee's, get a first impression. We're driving at twilight in the morning. I didn't really get a good look at what the weather was like. Let's take a look. I don't need New York. It's clear, right? Feels like 40 degrees, but it's 45. We got a high of 72 today, but it should be clear. I don't see any fog advisories or anything like that. So we're just gonna see how the Model X feels and how it, has adapted to the new update overnight inside the garage, right? The beauty of owning a Tesla is that these robots, because cars might not do it justice, these robots that are essentially navigating us from point A to point B, they get better overnight. So everybody in the Tesla community is anxious when they get a software update for their vehicle. So when I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I see that Panda is ready for a software update. It excites me, but then I'm like, why doesn't my Model 3 have it? But them's the breaks. Panda is our senior vehicle. Maybe that's it's up in the queue faster because it's an older model, older AI4 car. I don't know, but either way, this is our first time experiencing 14.2.2.3, and we will be patiently waiting for Stygian 2.0, our Model 3, to get that as well. The real goal is, what does 14.3 hold as far as a feature set, customer-facing feature set? And in the Model X, you can really tell when we have these matrix headlights, so it doesn't blind oncoming traffic. It recognizes the vehicles incoming. The Model 3 has this, but I don't know if it's just the angle we're sitting at here in the Model X, but it is ever apparent that the matrix headlights move and get out of the windshield of oncoming traffic. That is one hell of a cool feature. I don't know. Something about Tesla and the way they conduct business, understanding what consumers, I didn't even know I wanted something like that, but I guarantee you the vehicles on the other side appreciate it, and I'm doing nothing. So those matrix headlights, pretty dope. And the Model X is just, you could tell that this is the lap of luxury here. The size of the cabin, the ride height, all of that stuff just makes you feel like you own the road. So, and the Model 3, it's my car. I love my Model 3, but you definitely can tell where the money went when you're riding inside the Model X. Not to mention when you open these Falcon Wing doors, like that's that's stunting on a whole nother level, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. So, but so far the ride, this is what we're used to. We traverse these streets quite frequently. No surprises. Everything seems to be kosher. If I was in the back seat, I'd be focused on something totally different. But as of right now, this is early. We got some things that might pop up, and we have to be super vigilant until they tell us we don't have to be. And even then, I imagine some mistakes are prone. It's just the task of driving is complicated. Every time I get in the vehicle, years prior, because now I don't do the heavy lifting of driving, but I can imagine before 2022 or so, whenever I got into the vehicle, there was always this chance that something could happen, whether it's caused by me or caused by some other person on the road. Driving is not danger-free, regardless of who's driving, whether it's the robot driving or the human driving. So you have to kind of have some awareness, especially in a supervised setting. When Tesla decides to take control, I already have this mindset of owning Teslas for 5 years that I'm in the safest vehicle, unless there's a leopard tank. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what would make me feel safer. Cybertruck would probably make me feel the safest. But I know being in a Tesla, whether it be a Model 3, Model S, Model X, or a Model Y, probably got those inverted in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, I know if I'm in a Tesla, I'm safe. If we were to get into a collision or have some type of accident not caused by the robot, I feel pretty safe knowing that more than likely I'm going to walk away from that crash unharmed, right? I mean, obviously there's free accidents that could occur. This is the risk we take whenever we get inside the vehicle, no matter who's driving. But safety ratings, it's hard to deny that Teslas are the safest vehicles on the planet. So regardless, even if I'm in the back seat, I have a layer of comfort knowing that even if I were to get in the collision as we climb up on 99, people blazing through here at 70 plus miles an hour, speed limit 65, I still feel like I should be the safest vehicle on the road simply because of what I choose to surround myself with. Tesla safety, impeccable. Not having to drive, I'm sold. But for those of you that do like to drive, there's nothing more responsive. There's nothing with a performance value than a Tesla when you actually do want to drive. But that, you won't know that unless you get behind the wheel of it. Go get a test drive at a service center, showrooms, right? If you open your eyes a little bit, you can see that there's more Tesla things, whether they be superchargers or service centers or showrooms. If you glance over and see a Tesla showroom, just go over there and stop in and say hi and be like, hey, I've never been in Tesla. I'd like to see what these things are about. Those guys will be happy to show you what the future looks like. So don't take my word for it. Go sit in one. I try not to sit in one of these luxury ones if you ain't got the bread. All right, we got a 18-wheeler making basically an emergency maneuver, not wanting to go westbound, but wanting to go eastbound on I-10. That could have been catastrophic at these heights on this bridge. Woo! I'm glad he was able to execute that maneuver, and I'm glad that the other people around him in vehicles didn't press him to make an even more catastrophic decision than what he had already made. We're good right now. It's basically 6 a.m. in the morning, and again, the randomness of driving. For this vehicle to be able to handle city streets and highways the way it does, it's absolutely remarkable, and to me, something akin to magic. So we are now on I-10. We've exited 99. We're on I-10, headed our way to the Supercharger near this Buc-ee's down here in Katy. one of the better Buc-ee's here in the great state of Texas, if I do say so myself. I've only been to a handful across the state, but this Buc-ee's has everything from souvenirs to great food. Pitmaster Boss over there at the barbecue. You got breakfast, you got lunch, you got, you know, dinner type stuff, salads, everything you could possibly want. Wraps, sandwiches. This Buc-ee's does it all. Wow, that's an interesting load that truck has there. But anyway, riding through my city, through the greater metro Houston area, as basically a passenger princess, as my vehicle does all the work, making me feel safer than I've ever felt before on the road. I'm able to supervise and make sure everything looks a-okay, right? And even then, when they tell me to get in the back seat, I'm not gonna be worried about how I get from point A to point B. I'm gonna be more concerned with what do I do with my time in between those driving sessions that I'm no longer in control of. So my productivity should improve. Maybe my rest will improve. Maybe I'll just go to sleep when they tell me I no longer have to supervise this thing. Either way, I'll be getting back my time and my energy. Right now, I'm simply just getting back my energy. And now we've got another emergency situation where this vehicle pulls over to the side of the road, and this 18-wheeler or a big truck, whatever you want to call it, I don't know if it has 18 wheels or not, but it's definitely had to slow down and try to make a emergency maneuver, right? And we're behind it. Our vehicle makes all the necessary decisions, not only to keep us safe, but to make everybody else around us feel comfortable. This is insane to me, how responsive this is to outside forces, random acts of driving. So I hope that vehicle over there is okay. I don't know what possessed them to glide into the shoulder. They could have been tired. They could have been car malfunction. I don't know. And neither does that truck. But luckily nobody got hurt, and hopefully they're safe. Woo. It's been a weird driving morning today, ladies and gentlemen, for our first impression of version 14.2.2.3. But that's what we're here for. We want to see how comfortable we feel in the face of such adversity. None of that caused by us, all of that caused by human driving. But we're here for it until everybody's able to relinquish the task of driving. We're here for this. Let's see how we deal. We're pretty much close to our destination. Doesn't look like we're gonna turn on Buc-ee's Boulevard here. We're gonna probably do the loop around, which includes the roundabout. That's perfectly fine by me. Let's see how we handle this destination arrival situation. Which supercharger will it select? I saw an X. Somebody's like, I do whatever the robo-taxi tells me to do. And I guess it pulled into one that had a loose panel. So the supercharger looked mildly busted. There was no out of order sign. He plugged that right in anyway. All right, so we're coming up here on the roundabout. This seems fairly simple. Nothing crazy going on. And there we go. From the garage to Buc-ee's. I mean, I don't want to count these chickens before they hatch. But I mean, I don't know what else. Like watching the progress. We've made this trip several different times with several different versions of the software. Watching this progression, like, I don't know. It's like watching a teenager not become a student driver, but a teenager going through being a student driver and then becoming an expert driver, better than the instructor could have hoped or could do themselves. So let's see how we back up into this supercharger. Now, selecting superchargers is an art. It's a science in itself, right? You don't want to be grouped up together, right? If you see a vehicle charging, you want to kind of get a few stalls away so you aren't sharing the same wattage, basically slowing down your charging progress. All right, but we're here, we're at Buc-ee's. We're gonna go grab Yosh-chan some lunch. I don't know, I'm pretty good, but who knows, there might be something that sparks my eye inside of Buc-ee's. But for one thing, we're definitely gonna grab her beloved Buc-ee's salad, and we're gonna charge it in. So all right.